Oh, there's some really good smack talk going on, so we're just agreeing to the rules. It's gonna be a best of three. Oh, Haggis is asking Kimo if he knows how to play. I love it. Good old trash talk. Let's see what Kimo has to offer. So both players are relatively experienced. Haggis is I would say, middle top end deathmatch player. Um, Also, obviously good at supremacy. Kimo, however, is a supremacy first kind of player. He stems from StarCraft 2, really high level there, reached Grandmaster multiple times, competed in multiple smaller tournaments. As for Haggis, he has the advantage here, in my opinion, just because of his deathmatch experience. And I think we are going to be ready to go here. Might have to change the colors for the names, depending on who joins first. Kimo is going to be blue. Oops.
Yes.
So there's going to be blind pick. We have no idea what god they're going to choose. Generally speaking, Haggis is a Zeus main in deathmatch, and Kimo likes to play Isis or Ra. But from Haggis, he has the experience to go anything. Kimo has also been seen going Loki a few times, particularly to point out something, he beat Magic twice. Uh, when Magic was rusty, to be fair, but that's still an accomplishment for anybody. So that those matches were Isis versus Loki, which is something that I think Haggis will avoid. I really doubt he would go Egyptian in this series here. I think he'll just do his good old bread and butter Zeus, take it safe, and take the $10. I think that's his plan. As for Kimo, I think he wants to go into the super late game where he's very comfortable making a million towers, walls, and Migdolts, and just keep rock dropping around. I think he's gonna go Isis. I guess readying up. Also, the maps are going to be interesting because neither of them have played Deathmatch on Frozen Wastes yet. The others they're familiar with. That should be fine. And we should be clicking in here any moment now. All right, we're loading into it, and my prediction is pretty damn good. Spawning in the bottom, we've got Kimo in the blue as the Isis player, and in the north, we've got Haggis, the Zeus player, in red. So Kimo is not going for a mercenary rush, which is pretty interesting. He's going through Bast, which is completely standard. Athena out of Haggis. He is preparing to be mercenary rushed, but that's not going to happen, obviously, because it's Kimo's stylistic choice, I feel, to not do that. Now he is getting a pretty fast heroic timing still. Like, I thought he might be doing something weird with many barracks, but no, he's not. Oh, the banner is in the way. Okay. My apologies. We'll just put it up here. Okay, so there is a mercenary wave coming out of Kimo after heroic, which is pretty interesting. Um, so Haggis has put in a stable here, which is a bit untraditional. Now the Hippicons are faster than the hoplites, which means that they'll get there relatively sooner. But their training time is longer, so it doesn't quite make up for that. But overall, it's nice to mix in some, because if the ISIS player goes for pure Axeman, then you can pick off a villager or two with the Hippicons. Very nice touch there. Now this fortress is going to be easily denied by the Mercs and the Sphinx. And on this other side, we've got the Rock picking up 8 villagers, and oh my god, this could be bolted. Whoa, that could have been a disaster for Kimo right away, but I think Haggis wasn't looking there. His Mythic Age choice is Hera, which is really good for an aggressive map such as this. I wonder what myth units he's making. It's Medusas. And yeah, he's just overall built a lot of military academies. There's no fortress yet, which is a bit of a hole in Haggis's gameplay. Kimo is getting ready for the inevitable hoplite raids by making a ton of towers, but he's only now throwing down his first monument, which is really gonna delay his favor income in comparison to what it could have been. Oh wow. That Medusa has to back off now because the mummy is chasing after it, and I think it's gonna... Yep. It's got it now, but Bellerophon is coming in and should be able to take out the mummy and, generally speaking, keep the myth unit count low until there's a lot of chariots. Haggis is going for 2 fortresses. Still no TC out of him. Whereas Kimo is slowly getting up his second TC, but now with 11 villagers and the Pharaoh empowering that, he should be able to finish that up. Especially considering that there's no hoplites raiding in this area. Now there's no myth units left for Kimo, so this Eclipse is actually rather weak. Only 2, now 1 mummy left, and that's also going to be picked off here by Bellerophon. And yeah, that's it. There's no myth units left. Eclipse is right now not doing anything. The double fortress is completed for Haggis, and if he can get up this TC in this time span of Eclipse, then he will be completely safe against Locust trying to prevent his second TC. Always a very critical moment in the Greek versus Egypt matchup. Also, it looks like this Migdol is going to go down, and there's no replacement. I'm not sure even if Kimo has the favor to replace it. He does have it for now, but as soon as he makes a mummy... Oh, he cancelled the mummy. Okay, he's definitely planning to replace it. Here it is. Oh, interestingly enough, he did that before I clicked. Looks like Haggis is gonna get this up, but Kimo is not really looking to raid right now because he's holding on to dear life at his third town center location. And at the same time, Haggis is making sure that no sneaky builds are happening on his future third. But I think he's gonna take the aggressive approach here and just straight up start building here at the third location of Kimo right there. So far, the kill death count is definitely in favor of Kimo, I would say. Yeah, 118 to 91 is pretty good. Generally speaking, the Zeus wants to be ahead in this matchup. Okay, so Haggis is opting to go for this TC. There is nothing for him to garrison into there, so just a few chariots could cause real trouble, and there they are. Uh, Two chariots. They're gonna have to kill the hoplite first, or just continuously kite. Oh man, there's nothing to kill these Heliopoli. There's gonna have to be siege towers, which are now being made. But Kimo is also looking to load up a rock with catapults. A Locust Farm is being invoked. Very nice split out of Haggis. And it looks like they're gonna get away from here without much harm done. However, these catapults, any moment they could be ungarrisoned, and this progress on the TC is going to be reset. But that said, Haggis does have a really good map control right here going for him. Oh, those catapults are not focusing on the TC, and the hoplites should be able to kill them, but at the same time, Lightning Storm is being used. Oh, absolutely decimating these forces of Kimo. Wow. There's barely anything left. These Heliopoli should be able to clean up now, especially with some Hippicons in the mix to tank against units that, generally speaking, aren't good against them. And there's still Bolt available, and Restoration, and Underworld. Restoration is being used right now. If Kimo loses control of the Son of Osiris for just a moment, and he goes a bit more outside, that would mean that he'll be bolted, and this rock has been cleaned up with the catapults. Unfortunately, they didn't. Unfortunately for Kimo, they didn't reset the TC here. And yeah, Haggis is just in such a good position. Takes out the last Migdol stronghold of Kimo. The only thing that Kimo's got going for him is that he's got like what, 24 villagers on gold. Yeah, it's 25 actually. The Son of Osiris is putting in some really good work, but it's going out of range of the monument, which is going to allow Haggis to put Bolt on it. It won't kill it, but it will do a significant amount of damage. We should be seeing it any moment here. Oh, he might be still in range of... Oh no, he wasn't. Yep, he took a lot of damage directly down to half health. Should be much easier to clean up now. I think Haggis hasn't played on this patch yet, so he's a bit confused about what just happened there, why didn't it die, etc. But anyway, the relics, we didn't talk about the relics. We got Grugnir, Odin Spear, and we've also got the Flagstone of Buchen. Both are pretty nice relics, not so much the Flagstone of Buchen though, with walls and gates are cheaper. Well, okay, sure, they're a little cheaper, but sure as hell aren't better. If Haggis by chance would be able to take that TC, that should be game. However, if Kimo is able to push forward here and actually take it out, which he's looking to do right now, like some of these chariots are directly shooting at it, slowly taking down some of that HP. Kimo should be able to take this ground back. I think Haggis needs to back off a little bit, re-establish his army. He's got a good economy going for himself, except for these farms. They're not very well placed. These, however, are, so it's kinda evening itself out. It's not too bad. Ooh, these guys are walking without a drop-off. That's a problem. Both players are gonna have to start thinking about trade soon. It's nearing 10 minutes into the game. They can't have a lot of resources left. Oh, Kimo is actually extremely short on gold. He's gonna have to... He's already sold it, as you can see the market rates here. And Haggis is actually suffering from a food shortage. Can Kimo bring this game back? Like, he doesn't have a ton of villagers here on food. It's 14. Zeus is gonna need like 20, 25 at least. In some games he'll need 30, but that might be a bit overkill. Definitely not on farms. You'd want a bunch of those to go on hunt for the temporary boost in your eco. But yeah, it looks like Haggis went a bit overconfident and started killing too many buildings while not killing enough units. And this Son of Osiris must have a ridiculous kill count by now. Ooh, it looks like those siege towers are absolutely tearing through these Heliopoli. And Kimo's gaining ground. He's dealing with the Toxodis, trying to deny that gold mine. He's doing really well there. The tiny forces of Haggis have to back out now, lest they want to die. Yeah, man, Haggis has definitely overcommitted himself. He still doesn't have any food. In comparison to Kimo, who now started having food problems, but at least he doesn't have gold problems anymore, so that's a plus for him. He's making a ton of farms, however, so he's really looking to fix it. I think if he doesn't completely get into a blunderous situation where he just loses everything in the front, then he should be good to go for the rest of this game. So Haggis still has one ace in the hole, which is the Underworld Passage. He could be using it any time, really. What he needs to do is deny gold mining on both sides here. He should know that the main base gold mines are pretty much gone at this point, and that with the third TC claimed, Kimo must be confident enough to go outside and actually uh, get gold from outside. So yeah, Haggis needs to be able to do counter pressure, because if he's just defending, Kimo will be getting ahead. Also, very nice chariot scouts here. They're gonna find this gold mine and probably kill a lot of those villagers. And oh, if these siege towers are not dealt with like within moments, then this TC is gonna in fact go down. Son of Osiris is doing a hell of a lot of damage to these Heliopoli. And actually, Kimo is pulling back, making sure to pick off the Heliopoli, while the catapult works on the TC. Very nice play. Blarfin at the same time is trying to get rid of this little scout force there. But yeah, Kimo is pushing relentlessly. He's got a Migdol and that's going to be a GG Underworld from Haggis, and he taps out. Kimo takes the first game of the best of 3. For Haggis. But you can't really rely on that, I think. Yeah, I really don't think you can rely on that, because if you if you think that you're gonna get that bolt hit, uh, you might be very well wrong, because what if the ISIS player is just really good about the monument awareness? In that case, it just wouldn't happen anyways. Looks like Kimo's gonna be the blue guy again, so that's actually really nice for us. Alright, looks like we're ready to go into game 2 here. Or not quite. Players are gathering themselves, maybe considering god switches. I assume as the thought is building up in Haggis's mind, he must be considering to go Isis here, or maybe just go for a completely different Zeus strategy. Maybe even going Norse because of Kimo's suspected inexperience in that matchup, or even Atlantean, you never know. It's gonna be the same map, and we're gonna get a 4 versus Isis with Haggis spawning in the west as the red 4 and Kimo spawning in the east as the blue Isis player. He's going past again, doing his usual stuff actually with without Mercs. With Mercs, looks like he's having some indecision problems there. Now Dwarven Armory going down in Archaic for Haggis. He's not moving his Yov socks yet. What's going on? He's really building in the base. This is some very non-standard stuff from Haggis right there. Is he going straight up to Mythic? Anyway, the mercenaries are halfway through the map, and one of the Yovsaks was seen by that Sphinx, but it didn't turn around to deal with it. Kimo is starting that TC with a single laborer, and yeah, the mercs are just straight up collapsing on these guys right there. Oh man, Haggis has made an ox cart. That's really bad for him right now. The battle boars aren't doing any counter harassment either. But yeah, Haggis is just trying to build in 3 places at once. With Kimo, he's now got the standard base setup established. So from here on out, his build order efficiency doesn't matter anymore. Besides the fact that the TC timings are delayed for now. Yeah, it's a very Mythic heavy push here coming out of Haggis, but the sacrifice he did in map control and overall unit count, I believe, may not be worth it for him here. Some very, very subnormal stuff here. And he decided to protect, actually, at this third TC. Kimo requesting a pause. Ah. And yeah, Kimo also has the siege works underway, so if a catapult comes out, it should be able to pressure this TC area there. Particularly with so many units flooding into Haggis. Yeah, Haggis really needs to use these battle boars on the offense. If he doesn't, this TC is gonna come up and Kimo is gonna stay ahead for potentially all game. Norse needs to be in a free TC situation rather quickly. Ooh, Kimo's even finding this side build here with a bunch of infantry. And yeah, Kimo's TC just comes up. He's starting to go forward, and he's already making the catapults for the rock. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to keep that TC delayed. So Kimo didn't do anything about this TC, however, which does mean that Haggis is sort of able to get some hold on this. Interesting. Ooh, Kimo going very aggressive there with the ballista towers. And no additional Merc waves or villager production yet. Oh, I've spoken too soon. The Castus Curse has been enacted. And there is the Eclipse push. Yeah, with 2 mummies, probably a third on the way. Oh no, he actually doesn't have that. He's only making his 3rd monument right now. We didn't talk about the relics again. The Bow of Artemis makes archers cheaper, and the Thundercloud Shawl. Both really good relics, should be picked up at some point. It looks like Haggis just has a superior set of units right now, with Kimo investing so much into the population of Siege and the Rock. He is a tiny bit behind here. He'll need some extra mercenaries to make up for this. Ooh, that's a brutal catapult. So still, Haggis actually came out ahead on this, I think. Just because he has control of both of these DCs. If this comes up, he'll suddenly be able to punch through this, no problems. But will he be able to? That's the big question. There's no catapult coming for Kimo right now, so I don't really think he has the tools to stop it. And here, like, Haggis has established his presence here. It's gonna take a very long time for Kimo to clear this out, particularly with those guys repairing. Just delaying it for so long. I think we're gonna see a Locust Swarm here any moment, although Kimo seems to be just sending away the rock. I'm pretty sure he'll poke back in there and use it, but there's flaming weapons actually from Haggis, and with the 3rd TC finishing up, he should have a big enough army to actually put these towers out of their misery, unless the Son of Osiris is enough. And actually, the flank with the cavalry mercs is taking out pretty much all of the ballista. Holy crap. Okay. I'm not sure whose favor this is in right now. It's very hard to tell because of the towers. It looks like Kimo is cleaning up. But still, Haggis, he's on 3 TCs. Except he's... Oh, wow. Hold on a sec. We missed the Locust Swarm here. Sorry, guys. So yeah, there was a Locust Swarm. It didn't kill a whole lot of dwarves. But downside for Haggis still is that he doesn't have an eco, whereas Kimo already has some income going for himself. Yeah, man, this building push, it's got established too quickly for Haggis to really do much about it. With the build that he did, like, he was so constrained to his own base and even didn't make a lot of buildings that he just never got into a position where he can break this. Ooh, the mummies really are laying waste to those fire giants right now. And I think this should be a Kimo victory right there. All Kimo is gonna need here is a bunch of catapults, and I am pretty sure that Haggis is gonna be out of resources at this point. Whereas Kimo is in an okay place. He hasn't yet casted Prosperity. But Haggis is just completely out of gold and he has no population. So I don't think he'll have much of a chance to come back into this. The kill count is in his favor, but yeah, he doesn't have an economic machine behind this. So now Haggis started doing some stuff with his eco. He has a bunch of farms, 7 villagers farming at the moment, but Kimo just keeps killing Haggis's units, which just means that he still doesn't have a population count that can compete. Now, he has come up a little bit, but let's look at Kimo's. He's at 144, completely stable, never drops below it. Still has enough-ish gold to maintain the production queues. And with now more villagers going on to the outer gold mine, he should soon be uh, able to cast prosperity in a not bad way. Ragnarok is being used as a desperation mechanic right now. Yeah, Haggis is going all in on this, hopes to avoid this area, I think. But all that Kimo has to do, I believe, right now is to just get back behind this. Sit there and let Haggis just do whatever. Because once Haggis kills his army, loses his army, he's not gonna have any eco behind it. This is all that Haggis has. See? He can make villagers. He dealt with that raid. Oh, this choke point. Oh man, this is really bad for Haggis to fight from. It really looks like Kimo is just gonna put away this game. The catapult is now taking down the TC. Even with the ballista firing at the Son of Osiris, I think that Kimo... Oh, there's a little error, but he's correcting it. I think he'll just pull it back far enough and the ballista is no longer able to reach. Kimo doesn't Haggis doesn't have the money to steal a TC. He's now trying to counter-harass a little bit with the Ragnarok heroes. But they're dying like flies to the towers. Maybe they'll take out this one tower. But beyond that, there's not going to be any damage. The catapults take out the TC. And this should basically spell GG for Haggis. Oh, there goes the prosperity. Actually, this gold mine is gonna expire right there. But as I was saying, this is now Kimo's game in all but name. Haggis desperately trying to heal up his units for maybe one more fight. Maybe it will be favorable. Maybe he can get the Son of Osiris in that fight. Hoping to edge his way back into this game. Also managed to start up a trade, but I don't think he's gonna have any more food. Yeah, he's completely out of food now. He's gathering a little bit of gold here, which is also found immediately by Kimo. And yeah, as he starts to chip away at this, I think Haggis's hopes are being chipped away at, and he realizes this and taps out. Kimo wins the series 2-0. Let's look at the stats real quick. Yeah, Kimo was just ahead in every department here. Gathered more of everything. Except didn't start a trade. Very, very far behind the units killed. But that's, I suppose, normal. Well, maybe not quite. It should be a bit closer, but it wasn't the end of the world. Like, Kimo's build was subpar. So was Haggis's, but generally speaking, with a subpar build, Isis suffers more, I think, than the rest of the gods. Anyway, well done by Kimo. He's earned himself the $10.